So we've talked like a good amount on this show about social media, the effects of social media, and like the tone that historically we've always taken with it, of sort of this, we don't know yet, right? Sort of this big question mark hanging over all these questions, sort of caveating every discussion. Because I mean, up until the news I'm about to deliver here, it really has been something of a question mark, has it not? Right? I think that's a fair thing to say. You know, just like cigarettes before they figured all that stuff out or whatever really happened there. I don't know, I wasn't there. It's sort of like, this doesn't seem like it's great for you, but I mean, can we say? And then that's kind of the tone we've had to take, because, you can't just come here and act like we know things we don't, right? However, those days are now behind us. Those days are officially behind us as we are... I guess, put simply, we have proof that there are substantial effects that maybe not social media as a whole has on you, right? Like, I can't sit here and say, oh, you go on Twitter X amount a day, this thing's gonna happen to you. We're not there, but we're definitely not where we once were, right? A new study has come out that basically shows that using, I believe it's TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts for substantial amounts of time daily does have a negative effect on your brain, or how that, I believe, and from what I understand, and I'm not a neuroscientist, so do not quote me on this, don't listen to any of this actually, but from what I understand, it quite literally does rot your brain, is the understanding that I have of how this goes. So let me make a statement right off the bat. Not good. Do I know that this is not good scientifically? No, I don't. I'm not a scientist. However, do I feel comfortable stating my God-given right to an opinion here that this is a really bad thing? Yes, I do. This is not good. Not good by any means, guys. What I want to pitch here is not just this new piece of information, but rather a theory that, I don't know, I believe I recorded a paint and talk on this a while ago that actually didn't upload, because I don't like, one, because that study wasn't out when I recorded that, I don't believe. Unless maybe I did and I literally released it, I just don't remember, which would be crazy. And if one of you remember better than me, that'd be kind of scary at this point. But let's pretend that's not the case here, because I hope it's not. I think that, and the reason I didn't love the discussion on this the first time I did it is because it's sort of a hard thing to discuss without the implication of a mightier than thou kind of implication that comes along with it, right? But I do think there's about to be an exacerbation in cognitive inequality, right? And kind of, I feel like that's actually a terrible term to use for it. I feel like I'm almost dancing around what I'm trying to say here. A lot of people are about to get a whole lot dumber, is what I'm trying to say. And the reason I don't like this, or I don't like coming here to say all this, is because the implication here is that I am coming at this from some enlightened position, that I am, if you say that this is dumb, this thing is dumb, the implication is that you are smart, that you are above that thing, right? I learned this lesson actually from this very show earlier this year, probably in March. I made a video talking about interesting worldviews, and I did it terribly, right? And I was talking about somebody I saw speak that I felt had an uninteresting worldview, right? Not only was it a bad video for multiple reasons, but one of the things I really missed when making that video back then was that by saying that this person has an uninteresting worldview, the implication is that I have an interesting worldview, which was not at all my goal, right? So I must state here, the implication in this conversation, me saying that I think there's about to be a lot of people that get a lot dumber as a result of this, is not an implication that I am smarter, that I'm about to get smarter than everybody. However, I do think that we could maybe say that if, any certain number of people, or you and as an individual, are to hold these habits, or hold habits that are reverse to these, you will not have the negative effects of these. That is more so, I think, the point here, right? So let me stop dancing around and say exactly what I believe, right? So first of all, I think that there's been something similar to this. I think that's where we should start, right? Something similar to this has happened, though it's been a little more subtle, right? People don't really read anymore. I believe, if I'm not wrong, this is something that kind of started around the 90s, has continued till today, in great form. I think people actually are starting to read a little bit more now, which is kind of part of this conversation too, I suppose. And it's been a conversation for a little while now, right? People aren't reading anymore. People need to start reading again. And are we going to get dumber because we're watching TV instead? That's kind of like, there were a lot of articles back in the 90s that I wasn't alive in the 90s, but I've read a lot of these articles since, where like, if you read any essay collection that was published around the time, you'll see a lot of articles being like, is everybody about to get really stupid? And like a lot of questions like that, right? Fortunate enough, people did not get too stupid. I mean, maybe we got stupid. I don't know. I guess we wouldn't really know at this point, but I do think that there is a rift, at least like early on in life, that you'll notice between maybe the kids in your class that read versus don't read, etc., 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 right? I think there's already been something of a gap formed because of that, right? Now, I think that's like relatively subtle. Like I think, because you know what it is, reading is great, reading's really good, and reading I think does like, I'm pretty sure there's some science that it makes your brain work like smoother or whatever, I don't really know. It's good for you, right? But like, you can still read a bunch of dumb shit and be a dumb guy after reading all of it, right? Like if you read conspiracy forums all day, every day, you're not gonna be any smarter. Your reading comprehension can be great by the end of it, but it's not like you're gonna be a genius by the end of that, right? You know, and it all depends. I read every day. I don't read good stuff all the time though. Like I read a whole lot of comic books sometimes. There are weeks on end where I'll just read comic books. I'm not getting smarter when I'm doing that. I'm having a good time, and I think it's better than not reading at all. But you know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, reading makes you smarter in and of itself, right? That'd be an insane thing to say. However, I think that we're about to see a much more. I'm starting there because I think we can kind of relate to that, right? We can kind of look at like, oh, like I knew that kid in my class who he did real well in the tests and stuff, right? Like we can kind of all relate to this. I think that we're about to see a version of it that is not only relatable in that way, but actually relatable in a way that has genuine impacts on society, right? Because I believe actually this is interesting. When I first did this video, it wasn't about that social media study, because I remember talking about a study in the beginning of the first attempt at recording this. And it wasn't that social media study, it was AI, and how doing cognitive offloading has a genuine effect on people's brains and how they're working. It has a real effect to rot people, like literally rot people's brains, right? Or take away critical thinking, something along these lines, right? And I bring that up because AI is the second part of this, right? I think that we're about to see a gap between people who do two things. Scroll these platforms on end, right? And I'm pretty sure, and don't quote me on these numbers. Please seek out the study. If you want to like use this as like a lifestyle thing, please go seek out the study. Don't listen to me. I'm a guy in a really blue hat, not smart. But I believe there's like a threshold, right? Like I'm pretty sure if you open up Instagram Reels once a day and watch one Instagram Reel, you're gonna be okay. It's not like it's not like a thing that you're gonna get exposed to and it's gonna infect you, right? It's more of a habitual thing. If you have the habit of scrolling through these platforms, or if you have the habit of specifically cognitively offloading by AI, I'm not gonna, this is something I do think is worth mincing words about a little bit, because if you use ChatGPT instead of Google, let's say go, give me a recipe for French onion soup tonight, and then go like, source the highest rated one, that's not gonna, mush your brain up. That's fine. I think it's kind of ridiculous when people act like it's like everybody who touches one of these things is automatically going to have their brain rotted away. That's not it. It's the people that are, as we've seen in the news, and I mean, maybe you've even met some of them, the people that go like, oh man, like, I can't decide like where I should go eat right now. Actually, I don't even think that's it, because I guess you could also kind of use like a search engine. The people that are doing genuine cognitive offloading instead of critically thinking, right? Let's say your friend comes to you and they're like, I just cheated on my significant other. If you, instead of sitting there thinking like, what's the right thing to do? Should I tell them? Should I pretend I never heard this? If you're sitting there, instead of doing that, you go, let's ask ChatGPT, or people call it chat now. People are calling it chat. They go like, let's ask chat, and you do that. That's the part that's gonna mush up your brain, because that's critical thinking you're kind of supposed to do. Maybe not about cheating in particular, but like about life, things in life that require critical thinking, right? So I think we're gonna see a large rift between people that do that and don't do that. I think that like, and this is where it's tough, right? I'm gonna do some bold forecasting here. Some forecasting that could very easily lead to me being extremely wrong, but I think I'd rather be extremely wrong about this and have a little fun with it than not, right? Because like, I think it's tough talking about a new technological development, because oftentimes people freak out about these things and then like, life goes back to being pretty normal afterwards, right? Like maybe it's not the same, but like it's not like it's like changing the world, right? And I think we have this compulsion to view AI the same way. I do think AI is going to be a little different, though. I think we're possibly going to see people kind of split off into groups about this. Like, I think it's a very realistic scenario that we end up with groups of people who are pro-AI and using it and integrating into their lives, and people who are anti-AI, as long as we have the option to. And by the option to, I mean, like, you know, restaurants don't start leaving out their menus on ChatGPT instead. I think that we're going to kind of see groups, right? So I'm going to talk about these people in groups as if they're sectioning themselves off. Maybe they won't section themselves off, in which case, I do think that what I'm talking about will still happen, just in a less visible way. But I think people that don't use AI, don't use these scrolly platforms, right, that are kind of shooting images into your head at 100 miles a second, if you're using these versus not using them, I think that's where the big rift is going to be in how we all operate, how we all think. And I do genuinely think that, like, and this is me getting some bold territory. I'm not studying. I don't know if you could ethically study this, right? Because it kind of requires one person getting dumber. I think if you were to, like, take two people, right? Let's say you could clone yourself. Just make this more fun, right? So it's the exact same brain or whatever at the beginning. Take two people. One of them spends 3 hours a day scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, all those things, and then they also go on ChatGPT and use that for all their anytime they gotta think, which seems great, by the way. If you could just live your life by that seems like a great time. If that wasn't gonna kill you, like, that'd be awesome, right? But one person does that, the other person does not. Maybe they read a little bit, maybe they don't even read a little bit. Maybe they're just a normal guy that just doesn't do these things. They don't use ChatGPT, they don't use any of these social medias. I think if you had them take a test at the beginning of the year, then let that year play out, then take another test at the end, I genuinely think that we would see very different results from those two people by the end of that test. I do. And I feel bad making a take like this because it does imply that, like, oh, people are about to be dumb. Like, I hate that, right? Because the implication's that, like, oh, a mightier than thou thing. But I do think this is coming. I do think that we're going to have kind of a rift because of it. And honestly, I don't know. I don't want to spell doom over something because who am I to predict the future? But, like, shit don't seem good. I'll say that. This is today's painting. This is interesting. This is sort of a little bit like an expressionist kind of, I feel like. I don't know if expressionist is, it's definitely not expressionist, actually. Expressionist is 100% not the word here. I don't know, it's a little abstract, it's fun. I like this. I like this guy a lot. It's kind of the Finder logo, but it's like modern tech. Okay, wait, so what I was doing here was actually a really genius thing. This is meant to represent modern technology, like the Finder logo, but it's distorted and scary. I made that shit up. Yep, I just made that up. But go check this out on the TikTok and the Instagram. And until next time, guys, gals, and pals, my name is Max Dice. This has been Paint Dog episode 328. 328. I'm here every morning, painting and talking with you all.